What is going on, everybody? Wired here. I hope you guys are having an excellent, wonderful day, wonderful Tuesday. And this is hilarious to me. Mr. Rashad Richey, if you don't know, Dr. Rashad Richey, race hustler, puppet for the Young Turks, came out here a couple days ago and accused a woman, a nurse who was pregnant, a pregnant nurse, of stealing a bike or attempting to steal a bike from 5 teenagers. And unfortunately for him, the woman lawyered up and is now presenting receipts that she actually did have ownerage of the bike. And now Mr. Rashad Richey, probably by his overload, Cenk Uyghur or Anna Kasparian, asked to retract his statements here. And we're going to get into a whole lot of him just backtracking on this narrative of this woman being a horrible person, of her being a Karen, of her trying to endanger the lives of these black teenagers, because these black teenagers in question, the 5 of them, cannot be found. They cannot be found. And yet the woman is lawyered up. She's provided receipts that she owns the bike. And we're going to see a lot of grifting here, even still, for Mr. Rashad Richey, trying to do a lot of backtracking, trying to not be sued, but try to still give the benefit of the doubt that this woman still could possibly, might be in the wrong. So let's get into it here. Very fascinating stuff.
The story has already been updated. The updated version is still available, and the original reporting was taken down. I want to provide context and a direct examination, as well as provide an apology. Let me put up the picture full mass.
Should have provided context before you ran with the story. Should have had the details before you ran with the story. That used to be called journalism. I know. I was in school for 4 years for journalism, for writing. I know what that is. Verify your sources, Dr. Rashad Richey.
Last week, 35 million individuals viewed a video. It was viral. This video showed a woman screaming help and black males around her disputing about a bike. Well,
she might have actually felt in danger, but let's continue.
In that, there were 2 narratives. One narrative was to believe the young people. The other narrative was to believe the adult.
Sure.
In that instance, I believed the young person.
Why?
I still believe that there's a good faith reason why both possibly believed that they actually had access to that bike.
This is something else. Why? Why do you believe that? Since there are 5 young people, as you say, who have claim to the bike, why have none of them come out and spoken to the media about this? This is national news. This is garnering attention from everywhere around the world. Don't you think if they had good faith to the bike, they would come on and say it? No? Just me? The grift is strong with this one.
At no point did I ever believe that the young black male was trying to rob the female in question. But now it has been reported that there's a receipt showing she had a good faith reason to believe that the Citi Bike was hers. Naturally, that information has not been rebutted nor confirmed at all by the others involved. We're still waiting.
You see the grift that's going on here. It's not been rebutted because he has the receipt. She can present it from the actual company, but it hasn't been refuted from the people who do not want to be named either. It's astounding. It's absolutely amazing. Absolutely amazing.
For an update. Also, Citi Bike has not confirmed, at least at this point, how this could have happened where 2 individuals possibly believed that they both rented that same bike.
Well, let me explain it to you here, Rashad Richey here. I don't have a doctorate or anything like that. Best case scenario, there was a glitch in the system. Worst case scenario, they were trying to steal the bike from her. That's how it happens. I'm not racially blind here. I can see both sides of this. But you're free to in the comments, leave your discrepancies, racist, ishtaphobe, transphobe, whatever you want to call me. That's totally fine. However, one person has provided receipts. The other people other five people cannot be found. I think that speaks volumes. And they've left Rashad Richey out here holding the bag. It's a damn shame.
At the same time, over 35 million views, well over 100 publications covered it, and there were two narratives. My advocacy was connected to their youth, not their race.
Complete lie. That's a complete fabricated lie. You are completely invested in this because of their race, because you are a race grifter. Sorry to say, I call it as I see it, folks. I really do. That's how I see it. There is no reason for you to believe that these gentlemen, these five young gentlemen, have any claim to the bike. This woman has provided receipts for it. These five young men cannot be found, even though I'm sure they're wanted for comment by many news sources. Can't be found. What would that lead you to conclude, Dr. Rashad Richey?
There was also a statement from the hospital that called the incident disturbing. I want everyone to know that my advocacy was not in bad faith.
Yes, it was.
It doesn't mean that it wasn't wrong. It doesn't mean that the youth operated in bad faith either. Possibly there's an explanation why both believed they were in fact entitled to that particular bike.
Possibly there is. I'm not going to give them that. Possibly there is, but until these other parties come out and capitulate to that, speak on it, we will not know. So I don't know why he's giving them the benefit of the doubt when he did not give this woman the benefit of the doubt, but I guess we kind of all know that, right?
I say that to highlight a reality here, okay? I'm a zealous advocate. I've always been a zealous advocate, will continue to be so. But I'm not Fox News. When I'm presented with evidence that shows, well, at least contrary to the overall conclusion that somehow she knew she did not have access to that bike, well, that's not true if the receipts are real.
100%.
She believed she had access to the bike. So for that matter, to the woman who was in the middle of this, I submit to you my apologies as a man. Now, I do not like the fact that you screamed, "Help me," when you were not being robbed. I still.
If they were trying to take the bike from her and she had ownership of the bike to ride it home and they did not, then she was being robbed. That's just the way it is. But how dare she put these youths in danger when they were just trying to rob her, right? They shouldn't have done that. Why would you put youths in danger when all they're trying to do is rob you? That's messed up. It's wrong. You see what I mean? This isn't really an apology. I hope this guy gets sued into oblivion. I really do. Because this is an apology in my mind. And you shouldn't have ran with this story as a journalist to begin with before you knew the facts.
You have an issue with that. And I don't like the people who are saying all over social media that these young black men were trying to rob the woman in that moment. I do not believe that's what happened still.
And maybe they weren't. That's possible. Maybe they actually do have a good faith belief that they had access to the bike. That's possible. It is possible. But the fact that the five of them are not coming out here and saying anything about it does not speak well for their case. It just doesn't. Let's be honest here. This woman lawyered up. She's protecting her job. She's protecting herself. She's been slandered in national news. The fact that these five young men cannot be located does not speak well for them. If there wasn't mix up, they should come out and say it. For Rashad Richey's case, for the Young Turks' sake, they should. But they haven't yet. And maybe they will. Maybe there is a mix up with it. That's possible. I'm not going to say it's not. But so far from what we know about the narrative, it doesn't seem like that. But Rashad Richey here cannot accept that. Because he's a grifter and a racist.
Still don't believe that's what was happening. I believe that they both believed that they had access to that Citi Bike.
Possible.
And until we have additional information, well, that's where it's at now. But I want to make it very clear
I want to make it very clear. Why do you give the benefit to the 5 teenagers instead of the woman who has shown receipts? The 5 teenagers have shown no proof yet. Not that they don't have it. They could. I don't think they do, but they could. So I'm willing to give them that. But I'm not willing to also cast aspersions on this like Rashad Richey here is. Dr. Rashad Richey. And I think we all know why that is. That's racism.
What we do here is opinion commentary. Sometimes that opinion can be incorrect, but it doesn't mean it was developed nor presented in bad faith. And when there's a moment like this, I can't speak for everybody else, I can speak for me. When there's a moment like this, I will always look into this camera and let you know specifically that I am sorry for getting it wrong, because I get
that my overlords have been threatened with a lawsuit. And because St. Yogurt says it and Anna Kasparian says it, I have to now apologize.
Give a damn about getting it right. And so, ma'am, once again, I apologize. And I concur with your attorney, who, by the way, I don't think the attorney believes, based on his own wording, that the young men were involved in a robbery as it has been presented or suggested on social media. A New York City.
Exactly, but why would you give them the benefit of the doubt? For what reason? From the information that we know now about this situation, why are you giving them the benefit of the doubt when the woman, the Citi Bike Karen, you never, ever gave the benefit of the doubt to? You immediately slammed her. You immediately said she was stealing from these young men. Why? Now you're giving them the benefit of the doubt. It's incredible. It's absolutely incredible. He doesn't want to say the quiet part out loud, but I will. Because you're a grifter and you're a racist. That's why.
City Hospital. New York City hospital worker was caught on a viral video quarreling with a group of young black men over a Citi Bike, is now receiving threats to her and her family. The woman's lawyer said Friday, Sarah Comrie, a physician's assistant at Bellevue Hospital, became a target of an internet ire over the last week when footage of her arguing over one of the popular bike rentals was shared over and over again on social media. Her lawyer, Justin Marino, said there is much more to the story than what the video depicts. I am trying to stop the threats to her family and to her by clearing her name and letting people know what actually occurred, Marino said.
Oh, good man for him.
Civil rights lawyer Ben Crump, according to the Daily News, Ben Crump posted on social media that Comrie tried to weaponize her tears to paint this man as a threat, but appears to have taken the post.
Imagine robbing a pregnant woman. 5 people robbing a pregnant woman, if that allegedly happened, but I'm going to assume that did until more information comes out. If these 5 young men want to come out and actually speak contrary to it and say they have an actual legitimate claim to the bike and they weren't just trying to rob them, which is possible. I'm not saying it's not. There can be mix-ups in these things. But until we get more information, until they lawyer up or until they come out with a receipt, imagine this. I can't. I really can't. I'm so sick of all this woke nonsense being inserted into everything. People have excuses for things because of skin color. And I will say this, even though I don't want to speak too much on this. Dr. Rashad Richey, shame on you. If you had listened to anything that MLK had ever said, you would know that you would want to be judged on the context of your character, not the color of your skin. And if you listen to anything Malcolm X ever said, you would know to not trust the Democratic Party. But I guess you sold your soul for money, which, hey, that's totally fine. This is America after all. People do that all the time. Anyway, I'm not going to play any more of this. I'm getting tired of listening to it, but you can kind of see the whole thing about how, you know, this Citi Bike Karen, as she's being called, Miss Comrie, was not given the benefit of the doubt, but everybody else should be, because now they're being threatened with a class action lawsuit for defamation. And I hope they sue the Young Turks into the ground. That's all I got. Leave a like on the video, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Thank you for listening this long, and I will catch you on the next one. Later.